We're here for the Stott Pilates Series 2 warm-up. So let's get started. Remembering the purpose of our warm-up to think through our 5 principles, to do range of motion to our spine, lightly into flexion extension, rotation, side bending, start to get it warmed up for the work phase. So let's get started with some deep breathing. Let's go ahead and get into a seated butterfly position. Soles of the feet together, hips and knees bent. And then rock around a little bit. Find your sits bones on the base of your pelvis. That gives you a clue that you're sitting right on squarely on your pelvis to give you an upright posture. And then let's just visualize the natural curves of our spine, inward at the lumbar low back area, the little outward mid back, and inward again at the neck. Lengthen that neck and think of lifting the crown of your head up toward the ceiling. Shoulders down and back. We know that we get optimal breathing when we have a good, erect, neutral posture. They work together. So let's go ahead and start breathing a little more deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Lifting up tall. This 3-dimensional breathing of the abdomen, the lateral ribs and the back, expansion forward, sideward, and back when we're freely breathing. With this next breath out, go ahead and lift up pelvic floor and pull the lower abdominal wall in. Now we move into a little more of a 2-dimensional breathing that we use during the work phase that capitalizes on lateral ribs and back expansion. Let's go ahead. We're going to move into side bending of the spine. We're going to take a breath in, breath out as we side bend over. Big breath into your right rib cage, my left. I'm your mirror. And then breath out back to center. Drop those shoulders down and back whenever you come to center. Let's take a breath in, other side, and out. Big breath into your left rib cage. Breath out back to center. Check the shoulder position, nice and tall. Breath in, breath out. Big breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Big breath in, and breath out. Let's go ahead and move to your mat, and we're going to move into that hands and knees position, our quadruped. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and knees and hips. Knees hip width apart. Let's go ahead and just move our back around a little bit of flexing and extending it. Oh, that feels good to do a little range of motion to those spine segments. Finding that middle position for your low back, the neutral position in the low back, then the mid back and the shoulders and head and neck can follow suit and get into a nice long line. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my pelvic floor, lift up my lower abdominal wall, and pull my ribs a little up and in. Pull my shoulders away from my ears, and pull my scapula lightly together. Lengthen out my head, just feeling that length. Almost like energy shooting out the top of my head and then out through the other end through my tail. Nice supported position. Let's take a breath in. We're going to go to cat. Let's lead with our tail first. Tail drops as we breathe out. Mid-back curves, shoulders, head and neck. Big breath in at the top. Breath out, tail leading as it comes up. Neutral, low back, mid-back, shoulders, head and neck. Big breath in. Head leading, little nod of head. And then continuing to flex head and neck, shoulders, we're breathing out. Mid-back, low back, tail drops into full cat. Really pull up through pelvic floor, lift that lower abdominal wall in. Big breath in. And breath out. And we're going to let that head lead, lifting up, shoulders dropping down, mid-back, low back, back to a nice neutral position. So now having moved our back through that flexion and extension, I'm going to go ahead and have you go down onto your mats into that well-known hook-like position. Hips and knees bent, feet on the mat, knees and feet hip width apart. Gonna go ahead and have you move your arms out straight to the sides, so it creates a T with your body, and then flattening that lumbar part of your back and then extending it. Again, a little bit more range of motion. That feels good to warm up. Find that middle position that's comfortable for you today, and that may be more flat, that may be more extended, or if you have a back problem, you may have a specific position you use. Find that neutral position. Go ahead and stabilize from the bottom up. Pelvic floor, lower abs. Pull the ribcage down and in. Shoulders away from the ears. Pull your scapula lightly together. Feel your upper back and shoulders and the stability on the mat. You want to keep that full contact throughout this rotation. Warm up will do. We're going to go up to tabletop. One leg comes up. That's easy. Really pull up through the pelvic floor now and pull those lower abs in before you lift that second leg up so that you have no movement of the pelvis. We're going to move into rotation. We'll take our breath in here. Breath out as I rotate to one side. I'm coming to my right. Just easy, comfortable. Breath in back to center. Breath out to the other side. Really be using pelvic floor and lower abs and that trunk and rib stabilization. Breath in back to center, so that you're controlling this motion and not weight of your legs. It's not just yanking on your spine. Here's our breath out. Breath in. Keep that shoulder girdle down on the mat. Breath out other side. Just warming up also some of our oblique muscles as they're controlling this. Breath in the center. Breath out to one side. Breath into center. Breath out to the other side. And back to center. One leg down, other leg down. Move our arms down to our sides, palms down. We'll go ahead and move into hip roll, a great way to kind of end warm up and get us prepared for the work phase as we start to work a little bit more resistance with our movements here. So let's find our neutral position again. Lengthen out your spine. Stabilize from the bottom up. Breath in. Breath out, flatten the low back and let the tail start to lift. You're going to peel yourself off your mat. All the way up to the top, that nice bridge position. Take advantage of it. Really use the lower abs and pelvic floor to support your back so you don't overarch the back. Press the front of the hips toward the ceiling. Get that nice front body stretch. Squeeze the glutes, maybe at about 50% effort. Big breath in. Breath out and pace yourself back down. Every segment, try to find it on the mat as you come down and then go back into neutral position. Breath in, breath out and flatten. Lift the tail, roll yourself up all the way up to that nice bridge, well supported. Ooh, press those hips up. Big breath in, breath out, and we pace ourselves back down. Looking for every segment of the spine as you're trying to come into contact and coming back to neutral. One more here. Breath in, breath out and flatten, hips lift and rolling on up. And we're up into that nice body stretch at the top. Big breath in, breath out as we roll ourselves down and back to neutral. And there we go with our warm up, and I'll be meeting you again to move on to our 2 abdominal sections. See you there.